Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking apart a laptop. So why do we take apart and scrap out laptops? Well, for two things. We take it apart for the board, the PCB board, but we also take it apart for the hard drive and for the copper cooler that is usually applied to the chip. Now with the board itself, the chips aren't as high quality as you normally get on boards that are out of your tower PCs. But we'll take this one apart and we'll have a look and see what we've got. So this one is a Fujitsu Siemens. Very decorative kind of laptop. As with always with the laptops, you've got your battery compartment. We'll take that battery out. And the batteries, I don't obviously do anything with. I just really just take these as they are to the recycling centre. So nothing to do with the battery. Lots of screws within a laptop, so let's get on to taking them out. Now, as I say, with laptops, they can be very hit or miss. Sometimes you'll get absolutely fantastic chips, IC chips on them, and other times, not so fantastic. Sometimes you'll get a really big piece of copper on the coolant, cooling down the chip. Other times, not so big. So it is a little bit of hit and miss, but the fun's in the hunt, so that's why we do this kind of thing. We'll so a pot luck, and if you don't roll the dice, then you're not going to know what number's going to come up. So we'll roll the dice and we will see what we get. One thing I always find with laptops is it's easy enough getting these things apart. The harder part is the screen and getting that separated from the main body. Little hinge that attaches it can be sometimes quite difficult to break and to get loose and separate the screen from the main body, but again we will do that and see if there's anything worthwhile on that. Normally it's just a little bits of steel from the hinge, but as with everything, when it comes to scrapping, I ensure that I take all the metal and we separate that all from the plastic. No metal gets left behind, and that's including the screws. So a lot of people may just throw the screws away. What I do is I save all the screws, put them in a little tin, and you'd be amazed how quick that tin fills up if you're scrapping a lot of items, and the actual weight of the tin once it's full. So a little problem on here is that my trusty little screwdriver doesn't seem to reach all the way down for this one, so we will try and be smart about it. See if we can get it undone. Nope. Sometimes with this, what I do is put it in like this and then get a pair of pliers and turn it that way. and hopefully we can catch the screw and we can undo it. He says optimistically. We'll see. Let's see, let's put it back in and see if it's risen any. No, so we'll come back to that one. We'll get the other ones out first. Nice easy ones. You always find taking anything apart, there's always one screw somewhere that just doesn't want to play ball. But there's always ways around things. There's always a way to get these things out. Okay, almost got all the screws out now. There's going to be a couple that is going to cause us a couple of problems because they're deeper than every other one. But that's fine. We'll resolve it, we'll sort it out, we'll figure a way. Okay. Right, let's take those screws on one side. Let's have a little look at this little screw on this side. So it's this little number here. When it comes down to it, if I can't actually get it out, then I'll just end up using some brute force and break the thing. Because sometimes that's just what you gotta do. Sometimes you just gotta break it. Because this little screw doesn't like me. So I ain't gonna show it any respect. So let's have a look. So open up the laptop. Turn it over. And we'll see if we can start to separate it. Oh, that's not going to work. Let's have a look. Okay, we have some separation. Okay, so we have the first piece off. This is our first glimpse of the board. Okay, so we can see the copper cooler there attached to the fan. Put it down a little bit. There's a fan, copper cooler. Here's the memory stick, and we have the hard drive here, and then we've got obviously the rest of the board. So let's try and get this other part off there. Okay. And the one piece that's obviously sticking is the one that has the screw in that won't come out. Again, that's fine because we'll just break it. We actually might not need that one out if I can break this board. Pliers. Well, easily the disk drive slid out, so that's good. Okay, I'm sure you can't see in the video, but when bits ping off this all the time. Well, that's the main kind of bit off now that reveals now the rest of the board and the other pieces of the laptop. Okay, so let's have a look. See if we've got any other pins we need to, any other screws, sorry, we need to take out. A couple are exposed. My philosophy when taking anything apart is, if you see a screw, unscrew it. Sounds simple really, but it just means once you're starting to take pieces off the board, start to separate pieces, you know, it just becomes a little bit easier. Hopefully you can start just pulling stuff out once you undo all the screws. So, as I said, lots of screws within a laptop. I'm not going to get them all out. And then we're going to start pulling pieces off and see if and where the value is. Okay, it looks like quite a lot of them out now. All these screws were worth money here. Well, they are if you have enough of them, because it's still scrap, as I said earlier. Should maybe say if only they were made of copper or brass instead of steel. That would be a lot better. But unfortunately not. So we just remove them. Let's see if we've got anything else. Okay, there's one in here. Checking the board, there's one here, a couple here actually. A couple that's attached to the hard drive, and a couple that's attached to the copper cooling plate. Let's get them off. What you're really looking for on the board is you're looking for little gold plated items. You're looking for copper, you're looking for high quality chips, and then you've got all the other standard items that you would expect to find on a computer board. like monolithic capacitors, IC chips, little copper components, that kind of thing. I'm actually doing this in the comfort of the living room today, rather than out in the shed where I do most of my scrapping. So sitting back relaxing, having a little Jack Daniels and Coke, and spending some time taking stuff apart. Still finding screws. As I said, they are absolutely everywhere. And what are we? We've got 60 minutes in and we're still taking apart screws. Unbelievable. And soon enough we'll be able to start lifting components off of this board and hopefully separate the board and its components from this laptop. Okay. Still more here. Bet you guys spotted these ones on the camera before I even spotted them. Thinking, what a fool, he's still got loads of them sitting there, he's not taking those ones out yet. And you know what, you're right, I didn't. And I still haven't taken these ones out to separate the hard drive from the board either. So you see this little battery here as well, little gold plate connected to that, I can see from here, so that's good. There'll be gold fingers on this memory card as well. Okay, can we start now separating stuff? Okay, our first piece of metal off the board. Unfortunately that reveals even more screws. Oh well, we were. Another 4 screws to come off of this bit. That one's went flying. I'll find that in a bit. Can't have screws lying on the floor in the living room. Wife steps on them and I get it in the ear. Can't be having that, folks. Well, you guys at home, you know what that's all about. Need to keep the good lady happy. Having screws lying about the floor does not make for a happy wife. Okay, look, so just a tiny little part of the board here. Just trying to get all these crappy stickers off it so I can actually see what's on it. See if there's any gold-plated items, or if it's just all crap. Alright, so first board. So look at that. So we've got monolithic capacitors, got an IC chip, these two. And apart from that, we've got resistors on the back, good for silver recovery. They're quite big ones as well actually, so we will take them off of there. Obviously monolithic capacitors, good for palladium and silver, and your IC chips for gold recovery. Okay, so there's the first little one. See what else we can lift off. Okay, second one. Not a lot here. We'll check these pins out later, see if there are gold pins in them. Sometimes gold plated items within the audio jacks, but not a lot there, other than, again, a couple of small IC chips and monolithic capacitors. These items here, if you can see very well, let's try and get a bit closer so we can see the ones with a plus on them. Those are capacitors, but those are the ones that contain tantalum. So you sometimes get these in yellow, or kind of like a beigey yellow. They don't have the plus signs on them. But these black ones with a plus sign, these are the ones that contain tantalum. So tantalum is a very rare metal. A rare metal. It's worth quite a bit. There's one of the ones I was talking about. I say yellow, beige. It's actually more orange than anything else. But that one is also a tantalum capacitor. So we've got one here, 2, 3, 4 tantalum capacitors, and one crappy tiny IC chip. Monolithic capacitor, resistors. Okay, that's about it for that little board. Alrighty, start picking all the stuff off. Nothing attached to the metal. With these, you just check and see if they've got a silver flash. If it's silver, these, what we call fingers. If silver fingers, then I think it's tin. It's not silver plate. If they're gold, it is gold plate. But the silver ones, worthless. This says copper wiring inside these as well, so you can stick that in with your copper recovery if you are saving up your copper wire. Your insulated copper wire, that is. Okay, pulling back some of these items of tape just to see if it's covering anything. Okay, nothing there. Let's get into the board in a little bit more detail. Okay, that's not just coming off readily. So let's see if we can get anything out of it. Seems to be able to pull this back. There we go. It doesn't look like any gold in these ones. Well, there might be. You can look at that in a bit more detail. You can see right in the middle again there's another tantalum capacitor. Normally in here there will be little gold connectors, but I need to actually pull that apart to see. So we'll stick that to the side at the moment. And we get out the hard drive. So the hard drive, great for gold recovery. As you can see the gold fingers here. Gold finger. Yep. Gold plate, obviously, not pure gold. It's very actually unusual way it's connected. These little screw holes are unusual. I don't have anything on me here to take these ones out, but I do have a tool that I can fit in here and it will unscrew these, but not for this video. So there's your little hard drive, just a little one. Obviously the hard drive core itself is made of aluminium. You can take off the screws and we can see the hard drive itself. Yes, more screws. Must be up to around 30 screws by now, probably more. It's a never ever ending unscrew. Okay, look. See, take that top piece off. Steel as well, it's not aluminium, steel. There's your hard drive. 160 gigabyte hard drive. So it's quite a big hard drive for the size of it. Yeah. The big hard drives you get nowadays are all kind of 1 terabyte or 500 gigabyte. This is just 160. So top of this is steel, the body underneath it is aluminium, and on the other side of this there is a board, and there is items on that board, but I don't have the tool with me to get that board off at the moment, so we'll keep that aside for another day, and we'll go back to the board that's attached to the laptop. Again, there is more screws. As soon as you take something out, it just reveals more screws, and that's okay. Because we just unscrew them. That's what we do. As I say, the key thing here is just to get the components off. I'm not going to fully scrap the board at the moment. I'm just getting everything off. We'll stick it with our other boards, and at some point we will scrap all those boards out. We will remove the capacitors. We'll remove all the little copper items. We'll do all of that stuff. For now, it's just about getting stuff off and clearing it out. Okay, so let's have a look, see if we can get this board out. No, it's not lifting yet, which means it's still attached somewhere. Okay, just a little piece will take off. Let's peel it back and see if we'd have anything on this one. Little gold fingers on it, as you can see. Lovely jubbly. Okay, so little gold plate around the edge of this little component. If we can get it in the focus. There you go. Gold plate around the edge of this. Tiny little gold plate in the audio jack. Is it an audio jack? I don't know, some sort of jack. Okay, two of them there. You can see maybe a little bit of gold plate in there. And the wiring itself, the end of it, is a little piece that attaches to the board I just took out. And as you can see, that's gold plated as well, so they're good little things. Right, let's try and see where else these screws are. Where are your screws? One thing with these laptops as well is, as I say, because I extract absolutely every single bit of metal, you may notice that the places where the screws are, like these little things here, where my thumb is, they actually have a little piece of brass inside them. Yeah, that's what the screw goes into. They are brass, and we do take this out the board. You'll be surprised at the amount you come up with if you scrap a lot of laptops out. It's a good little bit of brass, and love me a little bit of brass. So we scrap it out. That's what we do. Okay, so finally got that edge out. I couldn't reach the screws with, so now I can reach those screws because I've just broken the bits off. And we're going to extract more screws. I mean, it is getting a little bit ridiculous the amount of screws in this thing, like. I don't want to call this video the never-ending screw because people will be tuning in trying to look at something that isn't what it is. Okay, so a little component there. Again, it's a little tiny board, but it does have a component with a couple of gold pins in it. I'm not sure if you can see that very well. There you go. Some gold pins on the edge of that. Stick that to one side. Plastic crap. Okay. Pull out the copper component. Try and keep it all one piece. Okay, there's another screw. Yep. Of course there is. Of course there's another screw. Pull it back there just to reveal a couple of screws that are actually holding the board to the laptop. Okie dokie. Oh, I see movement, it moves, it moves. Some nice gold pins on the edge of that as well. That'll be the one that connects it to the battery. Yeah. Okie doke. Okay, I would suggest that there's more. Woo, things falling everywhere. Try to wreck the joint. Wait, is there a screw in there? Yep. I see you. I'm coming for you. Alright. And there's our copper piece. Okay. Oh, good. Take the bits of crap off it. So it's actually a nice little bit of copper, yeah? Look at that shiny stuff. Okay, remove all the crap. We want our copper nice and clean. A little sticky bit here. It comes off in one go, it's lovely, eh? And we'll take these other pieces off because they are not copper, possibly aluminium. Once I get my pliers back that tried to escape. Okay, so let's try and pull these pieces off. There's one piece. Ching. Two piece. Ching. And this final piece. Try and do it without breaking the copper. Keep the copper in one piece. Aha. Boom. There's a little aluminium piece. And that leaves us with our copper cool piece, whatever it is. Copper cooler I call it, but it is essentially just a piece of metal that cools down the fan, the main chip. I'm just hoping that main chip is one of these ones you can pull out and that has gold pins on the bottom of it. That, my friends, would be just fine. Fine. And we're going to see in a minute because we're going to pull it out after I take the crap off of this little cooler. Okay, so there we go. Lovely piece of copper. Okay, taking the crap off it. Yeah. There you go. Lovely clean piece of copper. Put that on one side. And then we go for our chip. In fact, let's see if we can get the board out first of all. Let's get to the fan first of all. Get the fan removed. There we go. The fan is out. Well, as they say on the Crystal Maze, will you start the fans, please? No, we're not, because we're taking it out. We'll take that apart later. Let's just try and get the last screws out so we can take out the board. Alrighty. Is there any more? For any more? I mean, this is a crazy amount of screws, like. I cannot believe it, Captain. She's got 10,000 screws. Right, there's got to be one here somewhere because it's not coming out. And it's the only bit left. But I can't see where it is. It's attached to this bloody thing here. Right, let's try and undo that. Little chance of. No, not with the fingers, you're not. Oh yes, you are now though. Right, there you go. This the boy's been keeping on the board. Ta-da! There we go. There we go, folks. There's our board. There's our memory card. Okay, IC chips and gold fingers. 1, 2 big chips. Oh, looky, there's another memory card on the back. Hello. Boom. Shake the room. Another little drive in the back. Okay, there'll be nothing on that metal. This little fella in here will have gold pins. take all that stuff back. Looking, we're just revealing goodies. Just revealing goodies all the time. So there we go. There's the board. IC chips, monolithic capacitors, crystal oscillator, nice big chips. The question is, does this one have gold pins? Give me a second and we'll see. Okay, we have swapped out our Phillips for a flathead. It's a flathead that's seen a lot of action. You can see it's a bit rounded down at the top, and that's for pushing off monolithic capacitors off of these small boards. So let's turn the screw and see what we get. Oh, I think it's a pinner. It is as well, look at that. Yeah, beauty. Lovely jubbly. Those are the best value chips. Those ones with the gold pins. Here's a sweetie. I think she can do it, Captain. Perfect. Alright, so there you go. Lovely, that's what we wanted. So we got our high value chip. We got a hard drive. We got a couple of small boards with some gold pins. And we got 2 small memory cards with gold fingers. And on here, let's have a little quick look around the board. So as I said, the on the battery, you can see the gold connections. It's weak, as we say in Scotland. Weak the battery. Jesus Christ! Weak the battery out. He says, try to do it with one hand with great difficulty. Jeez, oh. There we go. Out you come. So, it's disappointing for that bit would have been gold as well, but isn't. That bit is. Sure, a little bit of gold there. This IC chip is what I thought the other one would have been. But good, we've got that one as well. Sorry, fallen phone. Underneath the high value one, we have got some monolithic capacitors as well, as you can see. So in terms of other items, what have we got? Our little IC chips here, our little tantalum capacitor. We have got some copper components, they contain copper. That one there, and there's a few over here. You've got your crappy aluminium capacitors. Got some gold plate in here, so hopefully there are gold pins underneath that. Gold pins for the battery connector. There'll be gold pins in this one as well. What else have we got? We have got our crystal oscillators that contain a little bit of silver. Yeah, that's about it. Some gold pins hopefully in these pieces. There won't be in that one probably, less likely. So that's that side of the board. Other side of the board is pretty much the same. Some gold pins in here, hopefully gold pins in here. An IC chip. Nice big monolithic capacitors there. And lots of other small ones around. That's it, guys. That's it for the laptop. As I said to you, we will extract all the other metal components from the laptop, so I will I'll grab this over and give you a quick show. So as you can see, lots of metal on that still. We'll pull all that metal off, so it just leaves the the plastic carcass, and that's about it. As I say, from there, the plastic carcass itself, we will take out the brass and all these pieces. See little bits of brass there? You see that brass colouring? Lots of them. See? All round the edge, and that will be added to our brass pile. Alrighty guys, let's have a little rundown then of what we got. So instead of filming obviously me taking apart the screen of the laptop, I've just taken all that apart, and I will show you kind of what we've got out of that. So as I say, the little pieces of brass that are attached to the carcass of the laptop itself, the plastic bit, as you can see, you know, there's these are all these little bits here. These are where all the screws get screwed into. So 8 gram of brass, what we got there. So it's not a lot, yeah, it's a little bit of brass, but you know, it's adds to our brass pile. That's out of one laptop, and it all adds up. So again, I don't like leaving metal contained within the plastic and putting that into, you know, anywhere. So either landfill or you know, you can't recycle it through a plastic recycler if it's still got metal things attached to it, really. So you need to separate all these things out, and obviously we've separated the brass out there. So it's great. We've got 8 grams of brass. These are all the screws that were in the laptop. As you can see, absolutely loads of different screws in the laptop itself. Lucky the proclaimers weren't scrappers, or they'd be singing 500 screws, no 500 miles. So absolutely lots of screws there. Yeah, took a lot to get them all out. So obviously didn't want to film all of that, doing it with the screen as well, because there was a significant amount there as well. The real bonus was obviously our chip, you know, our high grade, high quality chip, as you can see. All gold plated pins, so that was a real win. We had a couple of little gold plated jack items, so they're nice little pieces as well. We'll add to our gold pile. Just some smalls in terms of the metals, really kind of small items there. There's a bit of crap in there, get that out of there. Yeah, so that's the smalls. This item is the keyboard card. So obviously behind the keyboard you have this card, and it's plated with silver. So you can, you know, keep a lot of these and then extract the silver from them. But you do need to use acids to extract the silver and then precipitate with an agent to regain the silver. So, but I've got a pile of these things. I'll probably just sell them all online. Yep, but that's the keyboard card. Sits behind all kind of computer keyboards. In terms of the other items we got, so yeah, the drive, the disk drive. Inside that disk drive as well, there'll be a little motor. That is aluminium as well, aluminium casing. So we'll add that to our aluminium pile. But yeah, they'll get a little DC motor out of that as well. Actually did take a little motor out of the fan, so you can see the motor there. If I can get that in focus. Little copper motor that I took off of the fan. Obviously you saw me extract the copper from the fan earlier, so that's what that was. Aluminium pile, this is aluminium. Even like the foil backing is really thick foil, so you know, that was worth keeping. Our steel pile, so that's all steel. Again, actually more aluminium than steel, so that was great. We've got our copper cooler that went over our lovely chip, and then we've got the various boards that came out. So you've got your main board here, see, with lots of chips on it. The one, obviously, our main gold pin chip was on. So lots of lovely items on there that can be extracted. We've got a lot of little boards, some with gold pins, and obviously, you know, other items on there as well, like the tantalum capacitor. This one is little buttons. Those little buttons have a little nub of silver in the centre of each of them. We can extract that. Again, small board, hopefully some gold pins in there, maybe some gold plated in these, as I said earlier, as well, inside the audio jacks. Our two memory cards. So as you can see, they're both 1 GB memory cards. Another little item with gold fingers. Gold finger. And some resistors on this one. Okay, that one. This is your mouse pad. Sits underneath the mouse pad. There's obviously gold plated flash in there as well. A little one connector, a couple of buttons on the back of it. Tactile switches. A little one with gold pins in it. There's the gold pins. And the one that came off the back of the screen. As you can see, there's a lot of gold plating on that. So all these kind of new screens, you know, your LED screens, TVs, you do get these kind of things on the back of them. As you can see, lots of gold on this one. So good high quality board. Yeah, great for gold recovery. And this fine little one as well. Finally, this little one, I should say, not a fine little one. You can see some items on there. Not a lot, a little bit of copper in that one. Yeah, so that's it. And then there is our plastic waste. So as you can see from all the stuff that can actually recycle, there's not that much plastic waste left. But yeah, there you go. So there's our teardown of our laptop. See, lots of items there still to be recovered off of these boards, especially all the chips and the capacitors. But yeah, that was a fun little one. As I say, lots and lots of screws, which wasn't ideal. I didn't want to film all of that, but hopefully you enjoyed that. You can get a bit of an idea on the amount of metal you can get out of a laptop. As I say, quite a lot of aluminium there compared to the steel. So it's really great for our aluminium pile. Lovely big bit of copper and some nice chips and your disk drive and your hard drive. So that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in as always. If you like the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you on the next teardown. Bye now.